What makes our video podcast different from others? We ask each guest what they're doing to give back to the world and their local community. Now that they've amassed their wealth, how are they giving back to help others? Additionally, we ask each guest to give our listeners a special gift to help them grow as a person and to influence their business. Welcome to the Roy Snarr Show, Entrepreneurship and Giving Back. Now, here's your host, Roy Snarr.
Welcome back to the Roy Snarr Show. Today, I have a very special guest. Very excited to be talking with him. He's going to drop some bombs and share some incredible knowledge with us. This is actually his studio. Okay, he owns this studio, owns studios all over the place and in Dallas. So we have one here locally in Austin. There's one in Dallas. I've been working with Jeff Crilley for quite some time now. In fact, a little over a year. And he is a PR legend. He's going to share his story, his journey, his path of entrepreneurship, and how he transitioned from the corporate world into owning his own amazing seven-figure business. Jeff, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Well, it's an honor, and wow. And for me to be in my own studios as your guest is quite an honor. Honestly, I'm the guy who's usually asking the questions, so it's weird when I'm the guest.
Yeah.
But isn't this an amazing view?
Oh, I love it. It's great. Everybody I show the studio to, they're like, is that really the Capitol building or is that just like cut in? I'm like, no, that's really the Capitol building of Texas. And we have the governor's mansion below.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes, it's awesome.
So blessed.
The parking is nice and easy. So if you're anywhere local to Austin, you know it's an absolute travesty trying to park anywhere. So this is awesome. You just park right in, go right upstairs. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you for the plug.
Yeah, no problem at all. Shameless plug. Hey, it works out. But, I would love for the audience to learn more about how you started this. Like, why am I in your studio now and utilizing this space? How did you get here from where what's your whole backstory? Basically?
So thank you. I was a TV reporter for 25 years. So Lansing, Omaha, Minneapolis, Dallas. And I wrote a book in 2002. The book was pretty much a PR book written by a news guy saying, no, here's how you get on the news. This is what you should say. This is what you should never say. Here's how you talk in sound bites. Here's how you write a press release that might not be thrown away. Here's how you handle a negative story if the media shows up for the wrong reasons. And here's how you get to be a media darling where the media calls you up automatically. So I wrote this book in 2002, never intending to leave TV news. I was just going to make a little extra money, go around giving some speeches, and I went on this blistering pace of 300 speeches a year for 6 straight years in addition to my TV job. It was crazy. It was breakfast speech, lunch speech, go to work at Fox 4. Breakfast speech, lunch speech, go to work at Fox 4. I ended up selling 70,000 copies of this $10 book, and this business was born, Roy, because people kept trying to hire me. I'm signing books, and they're either complaining about their PR firm, how much money they're spending, how little they're getting, or they're saying, Jeff, it's a do-it-yourself book. I'll never do it myself. Can I hire you? And I would say, no, I'm on TV. It's unethical. I can't take your money. And they would all say some version of, okay, well, if you ever get tired of TV news, I want to be your very first client.
Wow.
So in 2008, I got the courage to finally walk away from a nice career in TV news into the great abyss of entrepreneurship, which you know well, right?
Yes.
And I started this company in my home in 2008, laptop, cell phone, calling myself a PR firm.
Perfect.
Thank you, yeah. And we've steadily grown. It's not like a overnight success. It's a one foot in front of the other process. Yes. And I know you get up super early in the morning to get started. And my advice to any entrepreneur is, you got to have the power of habit. It was a best-selling book written a few years ago by a New York Times best-selling author. And it was basically, if you commit to doing something every single day to further your goals, whether that's losing weight, getting in shape, or building a business, you slow and steady does win the race. So the most exciting thing that's happened in the last few years is this podcast division. Because podcasting got super cool, as you know.
Oh, yeah.
You have your own show, obviously, so you get it. Well, podcasting got really cool, but most CEOs, they don't want to be the tech. They want to be the talent. They want to just show up and interview people and leave. And so our podcast division, or broadcast division, has really grown into now something like 150 different shows, including yours.
That's amazing.
So yeah, I feel like the most blessed man on the planet, because I can't believe that no other entrepreneur thought to bring commercial television production to podcasting.
Yeah.
So as you look at all the podcasts that are on YouTube right now, most of them look kind of homemade, right?
Sure.
It's a person at home with a webcam. And so for you to come in here to this beautiful building in downtown Austin, interview me, and then leave knowing that Ziggy, shout out to Ziggy, our producer, he's going to do all the editing and uploading and tagging and just make it simple for you so you can go on with your day. Yeah,
that's awesome. And, I tried to do this at home myself, and I still have a little thing for like Zoom calls with clients or other agents, but the lighting and the camera setup, unless you live in this space, it's impossible to get it done. At least it was for me. It was very challenging trying to figure out, how do I get this light to work? There's shadows on me. And if I wanted to create more leverage and have higher level guests on, such as yourself,
thank you.
If they wanted to come into my little tiny office or come to my house and hear the dog barking and the baby screaming, that's not going to give me a lot of leverage. But having a studio like this is absolutely amazing. I'm calling people now and saying, hey, look, how about you come onto my show? It's in downtown Austin. We look over to Capitol Building. You can check it out on YouTube. Really? You'll have me on your show? That's way more powerful than saying, hey, let's hop on Zoom or StreamYard. You can actually have your own studio. And the best part, too, what you said, Ziggy is phenomenal. He does all the editing, the clips, and all that computer stuff that I'm not very good at, nor do I want to do it. He does it all to make us look like absolute rock stars.
He does.
Yeah,
he's
great.
Amazing. And he, too, is a tireless worker. So when he was working in Dallas, he was always the guy to come in early, open up the studios.
Yep.
If I ever asked him to stay late, it was always absolutely whatever needs to be done. So he's the perfect person to head up Austin.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. I've texted Ziggy in early morning, late at night. He's emailed me on Sundays. It's awesome to have that, And if I could go back in time, the one thing I would tell myself, and I would tell everybody right now, is to do it. Just actually do it. I was so reluctant to start my show. What am I going to talk about, or where am I going to do it? All these excuses. And so now that we're actually doing it, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
And it's super easy. All we're doing is having a conversation.
You're a great host, by the way. I mean, I came up through traditional broadcasting, and so you kind of learn habits in TV news. So I think I still kind of talk like a TV news guy.
Yeah, well, you're really smooth.
Well, thank you. But I envy you in a way because you have this boyish excitement about you that's hasn't gone through journalism school and learned how to talk like an anchorman. You just have a boyish excitement that is infectious. So you're an amazing host.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that.
You bet.
Yeah, thank you so much. And it's a learning curve because it's awkward at first. I mean, you're staring into a camera. I remember the first couple of videos or TV appearances I did, it was on Zoom because this was back in 2020. They're like, just look at that little green dot in your computer. And I'm like, this is awkward. I'm not like sitting in front of somebody, but you just get more and more used to it. And I just try to flow as naturally as possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So in 2008, when you made that big transition, that's what a lot of the listeners are looking for because they may be stuck in a 9-to-5. They may be comfortable. And being comfortable is okay, but it's also going to kill any ambition and growth. You have to be uncomfortable.
Yes.
So in 2008, when you made that leap, how old were your kids, and how'd that conversation go with your wife?
My wife.
Hey, honey, this is what we're doing. I'm going to take a chance. And I mean, that was a big leap of faith, leaving a established corporate career. I mean, you were a celebrity up in Dallas.
Thank you. Well, my wife is very understanding. Shout out to Victoria Snee, who also did TV and radio for a decade, and so she understood kind of the stresses and the idea that you're really not your own boss when you're in TV news.
Right.
You could be preparing for a trip and they say, nope, this thing blew up, and so you're not leaving. And so I asked her permission to quit, and she gave me permission to quit. And she was betting on me, and part of my motivation is, okay, I'm not going to fail. I mean, if she gave me permission to quit, it's not like I'm going to come crawling back to Channel 4 asking for my old job back. Right. I'm just going to have to make this work. And so I had this idea that nobody's going to pay this light bill but me. At the end of the day, it's on me.
Sure.
And all entrepreneurs have to have that same mindset is, what am I doing today to further the goals of my company? And I would suggest a mistake that many entrepreneurs make in the early days is they don't have their foot on the gas. And the gas means sales. You have got to be good at sales to be a good entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You can't, I'll just hire a bunch of salespeople, because nobody's going to be as passionate about the product as you.
That's true.
I mean, at your company, I would imagine you're the head sales guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you enjoy it.
Oh yeah, I love it because, to your point there, almost like the old saying, burn the ships, right? They come on ashore, burn the ships. We're not leaving until we finish our goal here, right?
Yes.
And if you take that chance, you have to just realize that everything is your fault. Like there's a cool t-shirt that says everything's my fault. And I absolutely love that because what you did is you took complete ownership. you didn't want your family to look at you as a failure. So you didn't become a failure. You said, I'm just going to make this happen. And that's what a lot of people are scared to do.
Yes.
And fear holds us back. But if you really think about it, it's like, I would be more scared. This is my biggest fear of sitting in that rocking chair saying, man, if I only went for it, if I only tried.
Yes.
Because we can always make more money, but we can't make more time. So you got to make the most out of your time and just take that chance. I remember when I first moved to Texas, I left my entire market there in California, moved to Texas, knew one person, my realtor. That was it. And the family was all excited for me. And there were some really, really hard times where the bank account went negative. And I'm like, what am I going to do? I have to make this work. And we ended up making it work and building a massive agency out of it. But there were some challenging times, but that's what's a part of it. And that's what gives your mind the callus and gives you a solid foundation. Maybe you can share one of the most challenging times that you had.
Well, my father gave me some great wisdom one time. He says, son, inside your head is a little screw, and if you turn it half a revolution, everything changes. And so half a revolution from fear is determination.
Oh, wow.
And so even today, we have massive bills as you do.
Exactly.
I have those little moments when I was like, oh my goodness, rent is due. And oh my goodness, am I really paying that much money for rent? And I allow myself to feel sorry for myself for about half a minute. And then I say, well, I guess you got to get busy. Yeah. I guess you got to figure it out, Jeff Crilley, because nobody's going to pay this light bill but you.
Yeah.
And so you got to get used to being uncomfortable, and you need to turn that fear into determination. Because some entrepreneurs, they almost go into the fetal position. It's like, oh, this thing happened to me, and so I'm too scared to go out. I'm too scared to do this. They're coming up with a million reasons why not to do something. Yeah. And what they really need to do is just focus on the next thing that is necessary to keep the lights on.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because I mean, even for myself, the same fetal position, it gets overwhelming at times, and that's totally normal, right? You have taxes that are due, the bills stack up, the bill collectors, they don't care about your sales that month or anything.
Right.
And it's like, you have to take ownership of that and get yourself out of that situation. And you can, but a lot of times people, they'll just throw in the towel. I think what a lot of it is patience. Most people, they want to get rich quick. They see something on TikTok or YouTube, become a millionaire in 6 months. Okay, well, maybe. But for me, it was a very, very long journey. It took, almost 7 years to hit that goal.
Yes.
But I gave it time. So you have to play the long game. And all these people that you see that are very successful, they all have similar stories. They've all been through it. And don't feel that it's too late. Just start now. It's better to start now. Like the old adage, plant a tree today or 20 years ago.
Right. And the other thing you need to do is constantly be innovating. So I look at the podcast universe, and I feel like we've got a comfortable lead right now, but I'm never resting on my laurels. I'm thinking to myself, what more can we do to create a client experience that will be memorable? So, one of the most iconic brands on the planet is Apple. And Apple, no matter how great their iPhone, whatever, I've lost track. I don't even know which edition they're on.
20 out of them.
Yeah, but they've got other providers that are coming after them and innovating and coming up with new gadgets. And so Apple is big on innovation. In fact, their new thing is the headset, the $3,000 headset.
Oh yeah.
But they've created such a ecosystem that I think this headset thing could be another game-changing technology. Pay attention to AI, guys. I mean, it's people are saying it's the biggest thing to hit the planet since the internet. Yeah, it's just a game changer. So be thinking, okay, what could AI be doing to improve our processes?
Exactly. So don't be scared of these new technologies, because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to be out of a job, or what I do is I'm going to be replaced. You can't have that mindset, but utilize the tools that are there, right?
Absolutely.
It's just like, the internet didn't kill people buying books. They could get ebooks, but people still buy physical books, right? And with AI, that's a whole other Now, I'm kind of an antiquated hillbilly. I don't know much about technology, and I should get better at it. But I've dabbled around on this AI, and it was able to write multiple articles for me, streamline some processes. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. So take advantage of the tools that you do have. And to your point, don't get comfortable. Even though you're stuck in the same line of selling, like, for example, us with insurance, right? Life insurance, long-term care annuities, there's some changes to them, but they're pretty basic. So we have to become, creative in the ways that we present the marketing to the consumer to capture them, because everybody's so inundated. So how do you make yourself different? Look at what other people are doing and say, how could you do it better?
Yes, I love that. And surround yourself with a great team. I'm so blessed that we have 20 full-time employees,
That's
and
amazing.
I call it a Thank God It's Monday company. You've been up in that
Oh yeah,
experience.
it's beautiful.
The employees get together, they love each other, they eat lunch together, they laugh, they talk about each other's significant other. It's having a great team, and I want to give you a chance to brag about your team because you surround yourself with brilliant people. Yeah. Why is that so critical to your success?
So yeah, thank you. That's a great question. It's all about building a culture to us, right? We want to build like a family environment. Like even our clients, we say, welcome to the family whenever they become a client of ours. And when we're interviewing new people, like, hey, look, this is a family environment. We all want to get along. We have a unique culture. We go out to do trips together. We'll go out to dinners together as a team. We'll have lunch catered in. It's amazing because you want to have fun with it. Like any type of business is stressful and it's easy to become lonely.
Yes.
You can just become pigeonholed and focus on what you want to do, but you need to come out of that shell and treat your team right and then build that culture because they are ultimately supporting you and they are a direct reflection of yourself.
Outstanding. Man, you're a great interviewer. It's just like a great conversation.
Yeah, no, this is a lot of fun. So let me ask you another good question here. So what are your goals from today? Like where do you see the Jeff Crilley Show, your PR agency, in 5 years? What direction are you going?
I've always said I want this to be in every NFL city. I'm going to use NFL city because any NFL city would be, a wonderful place to start. Austin obviously doesn't have an NFL team, but it was a good use of our resources because of the state capitol and its view. And Austin is just, as you know, a very vibrant community. I think our next move would probably be opening one in Houston and San Antonio and just kind of owning the state of Texas first and then start to move into other markets.
That is amazing. Especially Texas is growing incredibly fast, especially Austin. I mean, Verizon, AT&T, all these big cell phone carriers, they can't even keep up with enough towers here. That's how many people are moving here. So this is
I couldn't believe it. Like it's been a couple of years since I've spent any time in Austin. I couldn't believe the buildings that have just gone up right off of 35. I mean, man, I was like, that wasn't there before.
I've been here since 2018 when we first moved here. It's just north of Austin in Georgetown. It was this rural community. There's cattle everywhere, and like both my wife and I grew up on property. We're very rural mindset. It's like this is perfect. Now there's traffic lights. There's an HEB next to it. It was funny too because when they built the HEB, I'm like, there's gonna be so many people here. But now it's like, oh, cool, I can just walk across the street to the grocery store.
Right.
So,
and I think it's a very livable town and with so much recreation, the beautiful lakes. I mean, Austin, you can make an argument that it's one of the prettiest communities in the state.
I mean, the topography is just beautiful down here. Yeah. There's so much opportunity. That's why, people shouldn't be so self-limiting to their own beliefs because no matter where you live, there's tons of opportunity. Yeah. The difference is going out there and actually doing it. Most people are too scared to actually do it. And they're always looking for a shortcut. There is no shortcut. You have to make those phone calls, cold calls, whatever it may be.
Yes.
And you have to do it yourself and take ownership because if you're going to train a culture, a team, and if you haven't done it yourself, why would they listen to you?
Exactly.
So you have to do it yourself. Like, hey, look, I have empathy for you. I know what it feels like when somebody hangs up. I know what it's like to go through this process. I've done it myself. Now I'm having your help with it.
And the owner or CEO has to be kind of a model for the whole team. So I wake up every single morning at 5. I've done this every single day for the last 14 years. I send out a daily email that goes out to 28,000 journalists and gives them story tips. And so all of the team members see the boss waking up at 5 in the morning. And I think it sets a standard. It's like, okay, even Crilley is not just sitting out by the pool.
With the margarita,
I mean, he's out there hustling every single day.
Yeah.
And it sets a tone for the entire company.
That's amazing. You just ask yourself, would you hire you for the same salary? Like, I've checked myself sometimes like, okay, would I hire myself? I'm like, I better start doing a little bit better at some of these things. You have to keep checking yourself, especially as the owner or the lead entrepreneur.
And know what your gifts are. So I know what my gifts are. I think I have a pretty good visionary quality. I'm really good at the media relations thing. I'm pretty good at broadcasting. But the things I'm not good at, I know nothing about the technology. So honestly, the joke in our main offices in Dallas is if Crilley is coming by, it's usually to say, hey, Ziggy, can you punch a couple of buttons for me?
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to turn on our computers. And that's okay. I don't need to. I hire a bunch of brilliant people who are much more talented at this stuff than I am.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing something that's amazing, and that a lot of people have a hard time with. And on the business side of things, it's delegating what you are not good at. You should be spending all your time on what you are good at, and then delegating the rest. Like, for example, like Ziggy does the editing for my show. Yeah. Because I mean, could I do it? No, because one, I don't want to, and two, I don't have that natural ability. It's not what I'm good at.
Yeah.
I'm good at just kind of like what you're doing. Love talking with people and interacting, but I don't want to do the nitty gritty splicing and cutting of technology or other types of things. And so fortunately, we have team members that they absolutely love it. They're passionate about it. I think they're crazy, but I need them too. So that's awesome. Like, you love this, go ahead and do that, and you treat them right. Pay them fairly. You build that culture. Yes. They're not going to leave, and that's how you actually build a massive company. Like you said, Apple. One of its successes is its very tight culture. We have a lot of clients that work at Apple, and they love it. Nobody that I've ever experienced complains that working at Apple. They absolutely love working there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So my advice to anybody who's thinking about quitting their day job and getting into the world of entrepreneurship is ask yourself, get real honest with yourself. Are you cut out to be an entrepreneur? Not every single person on the planet is cut out to be an entrepreneur. If the idea of getting a steady paycheck every day allows you to sleep well at night, there's some beauty to working a 9 to 5 and then leaving at 5 o'clock and knowing that I've got nothing but personal time. If you do think you're cut out to be an entrepreneur, I would say there's an old saying, you can't steal second with 1 foot on first, but you should probably take a little bit of a lead off. And the lead off is start a side hustle. Yeah. Put your baby toe in the water. Just see if the concept that you have, if there's a market for it. Sure. Because I know a lot of people who will, while you talk about this, they'll cash out their 401k plan. They'll put it all on red. Exactly. I'm sure there's a need for this. And then the next thing you know, they've gone through their retirement funds. So stick your toe in the water. Make sure that there's a market for it. Make sure that you're fairly priced. Exactly. Make sure that you're offering a solution to a problem that truly exists, and not just one that's in your own mind.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. I mean, what we tell a lot of agents that, or people that get their insurance license, that's where our experience is. They'll say, I'm going to hop in full time. Like, no, don't. It takes time. Please don't do that. You have a mortgage, you get a wife and kids. So you start slowly, you give it time. And what I tell them is look, give up your evenings. And if you have a family, I totally understand the time. So maybe it's 2 or 3 nights a week that you completely give up. You dedicate to the practice. You get up a couple hours earlier. Are you going to be tired? Yeah, so what? Who cares? What do you want more? Do you want to be successful and be a little bit tired, or be well rested and be the same the next 10 years? You just have to make that choice, right?
Wow, that's great.
And what I always tell people is look, you're going to have to give up 5 years of your life to make anything worthwhile. By giving up 5 years of your life, we're talking about time sacrifice. In the evenings, taking time away from your kids, unfortunately, maybe giving up a Saturday, doing early mornings. But is that worth having the rest of your life of total freedom and you being in control? And for some people, it's not. Not everybody's cut out to be an entrepreneur, and that's okay. But if you want to be an entrepreneur, those are some of the things you have to build in your mind. Don't think it's going to happen overnight.
Absolutely. Yeah. And go for it. I mean, like you said earlier in the show, nobody is on their deathbed wishing that they had done this or that. They're really thinking about the stuff that they should have done when they were too busy doing something else. Yeah,
I mean, and that's what drives me. It's not a driver for everybody. Also, kids, right? Yeah. I want my kids to look up man, Dad's a badass. Look how cool he is. Look what he's done. What he's built. So those are my reasons why I'm kind of a selfless person. I love and care about myself, but it's I'm doing it not just for me. It's all about them. Yes. When I'm tired and I get up, I look at a picture of my family. I'm okay, I got to do it for them, right? I mean, I want to make the difference. I want to be the one in my family that just completely knocks it out of the park, and the kids go, wow, you know what? Look at everything that Dad's done. That way it gives them a better chance. And that's how you change generational wealth and how you change generational mindsets.
Yes. And I think your kiddos, even though they're relatively young, they're modeling you right now. They're seeing how hard Dad works. So you're setting a great example. Oh,
it's so super fun too. We have business class together with them. And I'll literally have they have this easel that they paint on, and it has a whiteboard, and we'll draw out things okay, here's how an insurance policy works, and The more people you have, the more what you have. Money. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And we draw it all out. So, and we do affirmations every morning with them too. Like, I'm confident, I'm successful, I'm strong, I'm tough. Like, just completely ingraining them, because the first few years of a child's life, they're just literally downloading everything. So that's another thing to think about too. What are you talking about in the house? Are you complaining? Money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford that. Is that what your children are downloading? Because then they're going to inherit that and have those same traits. So you need to help change that as well. And speaking of change, a lot of the things that we do to give back is through charitable donations.
Sure.
One of them is 1040 Impact, where we help rescue girls in Pakistan that are being trafficked, and we provide housing, shelter, everything. Michael D. Butler, that's his program.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so we help with them. We help other local places here in Austin, veterans. And so that's one of the big pieces too. If you can create something that's larger than yourself, then not only will your team appreciate that, they'll see a bigger vision, a bigger goal. Because if they're going to stick with you and not leave you for $1 more an hour somewhere, you got to sell that vision to them and say, hey, look, we are a part of something much larger. Look at the impact that we're making on all these other people's lives through what we're doing, this hard work, this person that hangs up the phone, the contracting paperwork. It's all worth it, because look what we get to give back. In the bigger picture. So maybe you can share with us a little bit more about what you do as an entrepreneur to give back to the community.
So, I do my Jeff Crilley show sometimes as many as 3 or 4 times a day.
Wow.
And I would say 1 out of 4 shows is a give back show. It's they're not designed to do anything more than put a spotlight on a nonprofit that needs a spotlight. And if you think about the traditional media, traditional media, even on a morning show interview, only has about 3 minutes to interview a nonprofit. To be able to put a nonprofit on my show for 15, 20 minutes, that's awesome. A big spotlight. And and then after we finish the show, they own it. So they can put it on their website, they can share across their social media channels. And
that's amazing. So you're using the years and years, since 2008, of building this platform, and now you have this awesome distribution platform. And think about it this way as relatability, like Apple has the iTunes store, right? It's a platform that you can buy apps from it. So, Jeff has built a media platform that people can come on to, like myself or even yourself. And then he'll allow nonprofits to come on there and use his channel as a distribution method to help spread the word, which is just awesome that you give up your time to do that. So if somebody wanted to reach out to you and be on the Jeff Crilley Show, how does that work?
So our main podcasting website is launchashow.com, and there's a contact form there. So just subject line Jeff Crilley Show guest, and it'll get to me, and would love to talk to you about coming on the show.
Yeah, that's amazing. So if you think of it, if you're able to get onto the Jeff Crilley Show, he has a massive distribution platform. You should connect with him on LinkedIn and other social media outlets just to see his reach. And don't be scared either. Just reach out and see if you can get onto the show. Maybe it's not right now, but maybe you can get on in the future. Just reach out, make a difference, do something, get out of your comfort zone. And if you're anywhere in the Texas Metroplex area, I say Texas Metroplex, but Austin or Dallas, and you want to have your own show, reach out to Jeff Crilley's team. Especially here in Austin, this is a beautiful location. There's so many people here. If you're in Dallas, go up there, stay in the loop, build a relationship, and just change something today to make something different for tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining the Roy Snarr Show. We appreciate you, and we'll see you again.